The model of multiple intelligence introduced by Howard Gardner in 1991, but before this, he has book in 1983. It is Frames of Mind, the Theory of Multiple Intelligence. The model was firstly proposed by Gardner in his book in 1983, Frames of Mind, the Theory of Multiple Intelligence. Gardner defined intelligence as a relatively autonomous human intellectual competence. He claimed that there are seven distinct types of intelligence, afterwards nine as illustrated in the following figures. This figure shows us the nine component model of Gardner, which firstly was seven components model. In his first model, he emphasized on seven type of intelligence, which are spatial intelligence, musical intelligence, logical, mathematical, interpersonal intelligence, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, linguistic, intrapersonal intelligence. After that, he added two more types of intelligence, naturalist and existential intelligence. His seven component model introduced in his book Frames of Mind, the Theory of Multiple Intelligences, which was published in 1983. In our lecture, we will focus on the seven component model and we will clarify the difference between multiple intelligences of Gardner, which are linguistic, logical, mathematical, linguistic intelligence, logical, mathematical intelligence, spatial intelligence, musical intelligence, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and intrapersonal intelligence.
Welcome back, Psych2Goers. Your ongoing support has helped us make psychology and mental health more accessible to everyone, and we want to thank you for that. So thanks. Now, let's continue. You receive your report card in the mail. With hesitation, you open the envelope and read out your doom. It's an F in not one, but two classes. Okay, so you're not the greatest at math or art history, but does that mean you're not intelligent? Your GPA isn't the only way to measure your intelligence. In 1983, Howard Gardner, an American developmental psychologist, came up with 9 types of intelligence that people can have. Each category is an area you may excel in, and you may be intelligent in more than one category. Here are the 9 types of intelligence, according to psychologist Howard Gardner. Which type are you? Number 1, Naturalist Intelligence. If you have a naturalist type of intelligence, then you may have a knack for identifying patterns in your natural surroundings. You're sensitive to the environment and can benefit as a hunter, gatherer, or farmer. This was a vital form of intelligence for our ancestors who needed to hunt and survive to provide for their people out in the wilderness on their own. Number 2, musical intelligence. Do you have a calling towards music? Can you pick up a new instrument with ease? Do you possibly also write and arrange your own music? With musical intelligence, you can discern the tone, rhythm, and pitch of the music you're listening to. You can easily repeat or recall a phrase or piece of music from what you've heard, and can usually play instruments by ear. You have an ear for sound and music that others do not. Pencil drummers and musical theater singers unite. Number 3, logical mathematical intelligence. With this type of intelligence, you're often caught in abstract, symbolic thought. Formulas and reasoning skills are your expertise. In reasoning, you often use inductive and deductive thinking patterns. Not only do you love strategy games and math problems, but odds are you've been begging your older siblings to participate in your wacky science experiments for years now. You'd excel as a mathematician, detective, or scientist. Number 4, existential intelligence. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? If you're an existential intellect, you indulge yourself in life's existential questions. Although these questions may not have a definitive answer, your philosophical mind keeps you up at night, and your theories are probably worthy enough to be published. Your thoughts, ideas, and hypotheses are all centered around life and the symbolic meaning of it all. Why are we here? What is our purpose? What does it all mean? Why am I asking so many questions? Number 5, interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence means that you just get people. You find it easy to take into account the different sides of a story and are open to different perspectives and willing to put yourself in another's shoes. You read others' emotions well, and you can quickly tell if someone is being genuine or not. You are empathetic and great at socializing with others on a deeper level. You would do great in the field of social work, as a teacher, or perhaps an actor. Number 6, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Do you feel that your mind and body are one? Can you tap into this energy directly? You are a special soul who uses the power of mind and body in unison to achieve your goals. Basically, you're great with timing, motor skills, athletics, and dancing. Perhaps you are a great dancer, or maybe you excel in the athletic field. You may even have the talents to be a great surgeon. Whatever it is, your mind and body are one in harmony, and your physical skills are unmatched by your friends. Number 7, linguistic intelligence. Do you have a vast vocabulary? Do you think in deep thoughts or internal monologues? Can you understand and pick up the subtle differences in the meaning of words and language? With this type of intelligence, you enjoy reading, writing, and find the beauty in language and words. Foreign languages come easily to you, and you learn new words faster than others. A lot of linguistic intellects work as journalists, poets, novelists, and public speakers. Number 8, intrapersonal intelligence. Have people always called you quiet? Do you consider yourself a deep, emotional thinker? You are probably at one with yourself. Your mind is your safe haven, and you understand your thoughts and feelings on a deeper level than most. You're aware of who you are and what you want, and you know how to change yourself for the better. You can motivate yourself by being your own motivational coach. You make goals and can achieve them faster and easier because of how attuned you are with what you want and accepting of who you are. If you have interpersonal intelligence, you might make a great psychologist, philosopher, or spiritual guide. And number 9, spatial intelligence. Are you great with directions and are a strong visual learner? With spatial intelligence, you enjoy solving puzzles and mazes and excel in creative drawing and painting pursuits. Your thought process is in 3 dimensions, and you may have artistic skill and expansive imagination because of this. If you possess spatial intelligence, you may do wonders as a sculptor, painter, sailor, pilot, or architect. What type of intelligence do you think you are? Did any of them jump out at you? Let us know in the comments below. Please like and share this video if it helped you and you think it could help someone else too. The studies and references used are listed in the description below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell icon for more Psych2Go videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
After clarifying the meaning of multiple intelligence and the meaning of each one, which we will do now, you should ask yourself two questions. In question number one, which type of intelligence you are, in which category you put yourself. And the second question, how to apply multiple intelligence, multiple human intelligence in the area or in the field of artificial intelligence, how to recreate multiple human intelligence in an artificial manner. Now we have to move on to the first one of these seven categories, which is musical rhythmic intelligence. Uh, it is the first type, and we can say if you have musical intelligence, you will be able to pick up a new instrument with ease. And also you can people who characterized by musical intelligence will be able to write and arrange their own music with, and also with musical intelligence they can discern the tone, rhythm, pitch of the music that they are listening to. Also, if you have musical intelligence, you can easily repeat or recall a phrase or piece of music from what you have heard, and you can usually play instruments and also you should have a good ear for sounds in music, but others who don't have musical intelligence will not be able to do that. So we can define musical intelligence as high sensitivity to sounds, rhythms, tones, and music. And the people with high musical intelligence normally have good pitch, are able to sing, play musical instruments, and can compose music.
Hello friends, dear parents and dear students. I am Dr. Beena Johnson, developmental pediatrician and senior consultant in child guidance. Welcome everyone to this video on musical intelligence. Musical intelligence refers to the skill of an individual in the performance, composition, and appreciation of musical patterns. People with musical intelligence have the ability to easily recognize and create musical structure, rhythm, and tone. People with strong musical intelligence easily learn to play musical instruments because they can easily repeat the rhythm patterns. Individuals with high musical intelligence have strong aptitude for playing musical instruments. They also are very good at musical composition and performance. They enjoy singing and playing musical instruments. People with high musical intelligence also have high musical memory. These individuals will give attention to all aspects of music such as rhythm, pitch, melody, composition, and music notations. Good career choices for people with musical intelligence are musicians, composers, singers, music critics, music teacher, band directors, and instrumentalists. Remember to subscribe this channel. Press the bell icon to get all the updates from the channel Best Child Development and Parenting. Best wishes to all. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Now, what about visual spatial intelligence? If we would like to define it in simple words, we can say that people who are characterized by visual spatial intelligence can deal with spatial judgments, and they have the ability to visualize with their mind's eye. Look at this figure and try to figure out your or assess your spatial or visual spatial intelligence. Identify the missing element that completes a pattern. Do you remember the meaning of pattern which we introduced before? A pattern is a spatial or temporal arrangement of separate elements to make a complex whole. Now try to guess the answer and come up with the answer. And try to identifying the missing element that complete a pattern. Which one of these completes this pattern? Try to reflect on and assess your spatial intelligence or visual spatial intelligence. I will give you 10 seconds to reflect on and try to come up with the answer.
Clothing while dressing.
Which of these blocks fits this big black hole? This one. Put the block in the hole. Here's another. Look first, then show me which one fits. This one. Put it in the hole. That's right. Think about it first, then pick up the block that fits the hole. Look at both blocks. Choose carefully. The first one you move counts as your choice. You want to be right the first time.
Correct placement of the blocks and coordination of hand movements are the most challenging aspects of the space visualization test. The blocks are placed in front of the child in the orientation in which they are shown on the test sheet, with a 5-centimeter space between them. Correctly orient the blocks prior to putting them in front of the child. Following recording of the child's response, prepare the form board in your lap by placing the peg correctly for the next item. Simultaneously exchange the blocks and form board from the completed item with the form board for the next item. This ensures that there is always a form board in front of the child. It is important to practice the movements needed to ensure accurate, smooth, rapid administration of the individual items. The space visualization test is discontinued when there are 5 errors, which need not be consecutive.
Another task can be used to assess the spatial or visual spatial intelligence is referred to as design copying.
On the design copying test, the child copies a series of printed designs. This type of skill is needed to accomplish such tasks as copying words or pictures.
Here are some pictures for you to copy. The pictures are up here. You draw them down here. Here is a line. It begins on a dot and it stops on a dot. You draw it down here. Begin on this dot and draw the line to this dot. That's right. This line is between this dot and this dot. There is no line here or here. Your picture looks like this one. Now draw these pictures. Draw them carefully. Begin on a dot and stop on a dot. We can't erase. Start with this one. Draw a line down here. I'm going to watch you, and I will draw the same thing you draw. You watch your pictures. Now draw these designs. Draw them in the empty spaces.
On both Part 1 and Part 2, you will copy the child's approach to drawing each design. It is important to correctly record the child's method and sequence of drawing to be able to score accurately later. You will record the sequence of the child's lines by drawing a new line any time he picks up his pencil, and by placing an arrow at the end of each line to indicate the direction in which he drew. It is important to leave obvious gaps between the different lines so that you can see clearly where each line starts and ends. On part 1, the line should be drawn near but not through the dots so that you can clearly identify each line. During the scoring of some items, you will be asked whether or not specific lines cross each other. To differentiate lines that cross, make a bump on the line that crosses over the other. Scoring of design copying is described in detail in the manual. The use of the scoring guide can be difficult and will be reviewed here. The scoring guide is used to measure accuracy of the child's drawing. The accuracy score on part 1 is based on how close the child's line is to the intended line. To obtain this score, use the millimeter lines on the right side of the scoring guide. Because this child's line goes outside of the 2 millimeter leeway for his age, he would receive a score of 1. This part of the scoring guide is also used to measure lines that go past or fail to meet a dot. On part 2, the child's accuracy is assessed by answering a series of questions called parameters that require measurement of characteristics such as straightness, length, and angles of lines. For example, if a parameter asks if a line is straight within 2 millimeters, the child's entire line must fit within the 2 millimeter space in the scoring guide. When determining length, the line is measured from end to end, regardless of its straightness. Some parameters ask whether or not a line is horizontal or vertical in relation to the printed boundaries. Here the examiner has determined that this line is not vertical within 10 degrees. However, it is vertical within 20 degrees. Item 18 asks whether or not the angle in the drawing is within 20 degrees of forming a 90-degree angle. Item 20 asks if the oblique lines are within 10 degrees of 45 degrees in relation to the boundaries. When measuring this, place the bisecting line of the scoring guide's 90-degree angle parallel to a boundary line.
I think now you are able to understand the meaning of musical intelligence and the meaning of visual spatial intelligence. And I would like to remind you before moving on to the third type of intelligence, which is referred to as linguistic intelligence or verbal intelligence or verbal linguistic intelligence. I would like before that, I would like to remind you that you have to ask you two main questions and to reflect on an issue mentioned before. The two questions are: in which category you classify yourself, in which kind of intelligence you are. And the second question: how can benefit from these kinds or types or subtypes of intelligence or multiple intelligence in recreation human intelligence and human multiple intelligence in an artificial manner. How can you benefit from the multiple intelligence in your major artificial intelligence? I mean, how can you benefit from multiple intelligence, multiple human intelligence in your major artificial intelligence? Now, what about verbal linguistic intelligence? Sorry, but before that, you should reflect on the issue that we mentioned before. I think that now you are acquainted with the meaning of human intelligence measures and how can we assess IQ or human intelligence or intelligent quotient. And I asked you before, do you think one day we will have artificial intelligence measures or scales or tests? And as I said before, someone may say, of course we do now. Yes, we have some suggestions for that, as I said before, but I'm not asking about impressions. I mean, well standardized measure of artificial intelligence with all psychometric characteristics, including reliability, validity, cutoff point, sensitivity, specificity, and we should also have norms to transfer raw score to scaled or standardized score, and also to transform raw score to intelligent quotient. And also I think we should have been able to collect data and to form norms from representative sample of robots or machine. I think this issue we have to reflect on more and more, and we will see what will happen in the future.